All right, welcome everybody. Hello, and welcome back to Two Friends Fighting.
What's up?
This is going to be another bonus episode for you guys today. We're going to be breaking down all of the events this past weekend. Khabib versus Gaethje, that was a huge fight card, and hopefully we're going to give you some more insight as to what really went down this past weekend. I want to start off by saying, if you watched our fight preview, yes, I was wrong. I admit it. My pick was not necessarily correct. We both lost some money this weekend, right?
Yeah, despite me actually picking Khabib, I'm actually even a bigger loser because I thought he would win, but the odds were so great that, like, on the off chance that Justin could, because if anyone was going to do it, it would have been Gaethje to actually beat Khabib. So I was like,
it was a good bet. It was a good bet to make, right?
Yeah, like the odds were good enough that, like, if he had actually won, I would have made some money, but we both bet some money, we both lost some money. It's no big deal, right? Either way, it kind of makes the events more fun. They're still fun to watch without money on the line, but it does add that little flair. Just be careful.
It's not like we bet the house or anything like that. We had a little bit of money down, and yeah, you're sort of like your heart starts beating a little bit harder, right?
Yeah.
Even my sister put some money down on Gaethje. Sorry, sis, but
for anyone who put money on Gaethje because of us, we apologize. Yeah. Actually, funny enough.
We should say, don't necessarily agree with us 100% of the time, right? Because we're going to be wrong. Picks are always like it's going to be tough, right?
Especially for MMA where anything could happen.
Yeah.
Funny enough, somebody bet on Khabib to win by submission, but he put down $1,500, and because he picked the method, he won. He walked away with like $4,500.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure who that person is. I just saw it as a highlight.
That's a lucky man right there.
Pretty crazy, but lucky, but also smart. Khabib winning by submission is not like necessarily like a crazy thing that never happens. Yeah. It happens actually a lot.
So we should actually probably start off by saying, if you haven't watched the fights, UFC 254 just happened this past weekend on Saturday. It was a little bit of an afternoon show. I think the main card started around 2 p.m. So we have Khabib Nurmagomedov, who was the lightweight champion and still is the lightweight champion. He retained his title after beating Justin Gaethje, who was the interim champion at the time.
Yep.
Khabib remains undefeated, right?
29-0.
Yeah.
And 13 of those fights are in the UFC, so that's him beating everybody at the highest level.
Yeah.
And again,
and we should mention
dominantly.
Definitely dominantly, but we should also mention that after the fight, in Khabib's post-fight interview, he announced his retirement, right? Which is huge news.
Huge news because obviously he's still really in his prime and he has years ahead of him staying undefeated, but his reason is actually very honorable because unfortunately his dad passed away due to COVID related reasons not too long ago, and his dad was also his coach. Like, he taught him how to fight since he was basically able to walk, so it's something they did together, and he doesn't want to do it anymore without his dad, which is super commendable. Love your fathers.
He promised his mom too, right? His mom asked him not to fight again without his dad in his corner, and he said, I promise I won't fight again. So I absolutely do believe him. Yeah. The only issue is that obviously, like, his star has never been brighter, right? Yeah. And all the people around him are going to want him to continue fighting because he makes money for his manager. He makes money for his coaches. Of course, like, they have the personal relationship with him, and he says he's not going to fight, so they have to kind of respect that. But at the same time, if they're making tons of cash off of Khabib, like, they kind of want him to get back in there. You know what I mean? Especially with a potential fight with Conor McGregor, second fight. That's going to be probably one of the biggest fights of all time. I don't know. That comes down to how Khabib's are with his moral compass, right? Yeah. Is he going to honor the promise to his parents, or is the money going to be? Everyone's got a price, even Khabib, or maybe not. Maybe he's just so stone cold. I think that I don't think that he needs the money at all. I think he will. It's tough. Like, I think that he wants to stay true to that promise, but at the same time, it's like you have all this outside pressure to keep fighting. Like, I don't know. It's going to be hard, and we're going to see, because the UFC is going to up the ante too. Dana's going to be giving him calls every day. Yeah. Also, because think about it, he's 29-0, great record, but how much better would it look at 30-0, right? That nice, clean, even number. And that's what he said. He said he wanted to retire at 30-0. Damn. And he wanted one more fight to fight Georges St. Pierre. That was actually the fight that he wanted, and the UFC that said that they were down to make it.
That would sell out so crazy.
So I mean, I think that the Conor fight would probably be a little bit bigger because obviously Conor is like a crazy superstar, but the GSP fight that's big too, right?
That'd be a fight between like those two people that I mentioned like last time who are like famous even though they don't talk trash.
Yeah,
it'd be like
absolutely
probably be the most boring hype for the fight. It's like no one talks any trash. It's like Khabib's great, George is great, we're gonna fight, and that's it. But it would still sell out because they're two superstars.
You know what? So I want to actually break down the actual fight of Khabib versus Gaethje. Because after that fight happened, I said, if Khabib fights again, I can't bet against this guy again. He was just too good.
He took the guy who was like his biggest competition, and
on paper, it was like his toughest challenge.
Beat him everywhere. Yeah. He was striking with Justin. He was keeping his pressure. He's like an actual bear. Like Justin was on his back foot the entire time. He
like the fight, like all of his fights, they kind of look like a zombie movie almost, right? Where like the zombies keep chasing the guys down, and of course they're going to be running away and maybe trying to like, maybe they have like a shotgun and they're trying to keep the zombies at bay by moving back and then eventually you're going to run out of ammo, right? And the zombie just swarms you, takes you down, and starts eating your brain. It's a little bit similar to what happened there.
That's actually probably the best analogy that I could possibly imagine, because that's exactly what it was. At no point, Justin probably never moved forward.
Justin, he wasn't moving forward, but he was doing good in that first round, right?
He landed some good shots.
He was keeping that zombie off of him.
It was definitely close. He landed great leg kicks. There was a couple times where like I thought, oh man, is Khabib rocked? And then, but you saw his near the end of the first round and right away in the second, you saw the look in Justin's eyes change, whereas he just looked tired, and that's a result of Khabib's like pressure that never lets off. As soon as Justin stepped to the left or the right, Khabib was still in front of him. His back was always against the cage, and he was throwing back. He was throwing back. He showed that his striking is good.
I think that Khabib's striking is good enough. That's the thing. Like if it was just like a kickboxing fight, Justin Gaethje I think would pretty easily beat him. I think so. But
we haven't had to see Khabib striking though, because he never has to use it because his wrestling is so good.
I think that the main reason that everyone has to move back, and they have to keep on the back foot, is because he's moving forward to get in the clinch position, right? He wants to like grab a leg. He wants to just even get into a body lock position or even an over-under position, because he has so many different takedowns from all those different positions,
and
right?
He's known for that too. So it's like every fighter is like, just don't get taken down. Just don't get taken down. And as soon as they're focusing on not... What he does is he forces them to react to him. Their goal is focusing on not getting taken down, while instead they should be focusing on what they can do to him versus avoiding what he can do to them. And that's how he wins, and that's how Justin got tired, and that's how he got taken down. Even though Justin was an all-American wrestler, his wrestling game was good, and Khabib still outclassed him.
It's that pressure, right?
And submitted him.
The pressure that Khabib poses is just unlike anybody else's pressure, right?
In my opinion, yes. Like I don't think I've seen,
because Justin didn't want to engage in the wrestling at all. He wanted to use his footwork, stay on the outside, hopefully get catch his breath in maybe like a dull moment, but there was never a dull moment because Khabib was constantly pushing forward. He never lets you take a breath, right?
Never
lets off the gas.
Yeah. As soon as Justin started like backpedaling, Khabib was still there. He was like actually running away almost at certain points.
Yeah. And that style of fighting, it doesn't tire Khabib out at all. He's just sort of moving forward, staying calm. He's looking for his moment to take you down. Whereas Gaethje is constantly like almost on like high alert, right? He has to be on high alert because if this guy shoots for a takedown, I have to be able to stop that, right?
And that's Khabib making Justin fight his fight. He's controlling the pace, controlling the space. He is moving less because Justin's on the outside, moving more, running away, wasting energy. While Khabib, for every one step Khabib took, Justin would take 3, and that tires him out more. And Justin's on a reactive basis. He's reacting to where Khabib's going, but Khabib can control the pace and control his breathing, and that proved that he had better conditioning overall too, because round 2 started and Justin was tired. Guess what? Even if he was
tired in round 1.
Even if he didn't get finished, he would have had to do like 4 more rounds and would have been done.
And it's a big difference, right? Watching Gaethje fighting Khabib and watching Gaethje fight Tony Ferguson.
Yeah.
Tony Ferguson is well known. So this was Gaethje's most recent fight before Khabib.
Yep.
And Gaethje went 5 rounds with Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson is known for having a great gas tank. Tony Ferguson's chin is legendary. Like Tony Ferguson got smoked by hard punches for 5 rounds. Like Gaethje was throwing power for 5 rounds.
He's got a chin.
And Gaethje didn't look tired in the 5th round.
Yeah, so it shows that Gaethje, like,
it's an ability to pace yourself, right?
Yeah.
He's pacing himself. He's leading the dance, right?
Both fighters clearly had good conditioning and could go those 5 rounds, but it was the fact that Gaethje wasn't allowed to fight his fight.
Yeah.
Which took away what he was conditioned for. He didn't train to fight Khabib's fight. He trained to fight his fight, and when he couldn't do that, his conditioning went out the window.
Yeah.
He got tired.
It was like it is like almost like leading a dance, right? Like Khabib sort of he's sort of fencing Gaethje off, right? Like keeping him on the outside, constantly making him run around, right? Where Gaethje never gets to sort of move at the pace that he's used to moving, right? Maybe like Gaethje's like maybe used to doing like a waltz or like a tango or something like that, and then Khabib like busts out some foxtrot on him.
Some bachata, some really fast, like...
Yeah, like some Latin stuff that, like, Gaethje wasn't used to.
Salsa. It was a big salsa dance.
He had, like, the rose in his mouth the whole time.
Yep, the spotlight came down, he did a pose. The rose flipped in his mouth. I have that image in my head now. This looks weird.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about why Khabib beat Gaethje, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that if Khabib comes back, who is his biggest challenge? Is there anyone out there for him if he comes back?
If he comes back, I think what fans want to see but never got was him fighting Tony Ferguson. But that's going to depend on.
I would have liked to see that.
If Khabib comes back, how long of a time he's off for?
Yeah.
And what Tony Ferguson does in that time. Maybe Tony Ferguson, I don't think so, but you never know. Maybe his next few fights don't go that well. He's on the way out, right? So if he's still a big name, if Khabib comes back, then yeah, I want to see that fight.
Yeah.
Or maybe Gaethje.
But doesn't
again.
Tony have to get a win though? Because he did just lose to Gaethje, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the end. If he's on a winning streak and Khabib comes back, I think that's the fight because people still want to see because they never saw it.
Yeah.
Or depending on maybe he's retired by then because he lost a lot of fights and he's like lower in the rankings, but maybe Justin's still there, right? And he's still winning.
Yeah.
Or for all we know, by the time Khabib comes back, there's a new player in that division.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you too, right? I want to see, so if Khabib does drop that belt, right? Let's say he does decide to retire, the UFC strips him of the belt.
Well, he did.
Or he relinquish. Did he relinquish?
Well, he's retired.
Yeah, but so far they haven't said that he's no longer champion.
Oh, fair enough. But
the division's
in
no
the post-fight interview, they said like Justin, he's like, your next fight's probably going to be for the title because it's now a vacant title.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to ask you. So what do you think happens if Khabib relinquishes his title belt and there's a new vacancy at lightweight?
Well, obviously Gaethje has to be one of those contenders because he was the interim champion.
And maybe the winner of Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier? Or do you think that they just make the Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor for the lightweight title?
No, I don't think they're going to make that for the title. I doubt it because it's not fair to Justin, who just fought for the title.
Well, Justin just lost.
Yeah, but he just fought for it, so give him another shot. How often do they do instant rematches? Right?
And but they don't do it that often if you just lost. You just lost to the champion. It kind of looks bad if you go fight for the title again and you win, but the guy who was the champion just he's no longer fighting. You're only the champion because the guy's no longer there.
At the same time, they almost basically promised him at the fight was over that your next fight's probably going to be for a title again.
He didn't look that great in that fight though. That's the problem.
Yeah, no, he didn't because Khabib's that good, but he's still a good fighter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
I think that Gaethje poses problems for everybody else in the division.
I believe so too.
And I think that he could very well be the second best in the lightweight division. But the problem is that he got mollywopped by Khabib.
Yeah, he got pretty badly beaten. So maybe you're right. Maybe Gaethje isn't involved in the next touch fight at all. But I think whoever has to be the top. Me personally, I think Gaethje will be one of those people.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if Dustin beats Conor. Then yeah, give him that because now he just won.
Dustin already beat Gaethje too.
That's true, right?
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I think Dustin might be there.
Yeah.
But it depends. If Conor beats Dustin because he already did once, and he decides yeah, I'll go for it again because Conor doesn't need to. Conor is loaded. He's just doing it for fun at this point. If he wins and decides to do it, then yeah, that'd be because that fight would sell.
Yeah.
Gaethje versus Conor. Oh my god.
Definitely. Conor versus anyone, right?
Absolutely. That's the money fight.
Yeah.
A broomstick.
Conor versus a broomstick still sells.
The broomstick wins. Oh my god. Yeah. So in my opinion,
name is Khabib, then the broomstick wins.
Conor's not gonna fight Khabib again. You couldn't pay him enough.
Yeah, he usually like chimes in after all the fights in the division, right? But after Khabib just completely destroyed Gaethje, I can't see Conor wanting that fight again.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think that he really stands a chance.
I don't think anyone wants to fight Khabib at this point, except for maybe Tony Ferguson, who never got the chance to.
Well, Tony Ferguson is also a wild man, so...
Yeah, well, they call him El Kakui for a reason.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
But, yeah, in my opinion, I think Gaethje will be there in the next title fight, and whoever else he fights, honestly, I can't say for sure, because the UFC might find a totally new up-and-comer by that point.
Yeah.
Who knows for sure?
So, okay, so before we end this little special episode or bonus episode, we want to sort of touch on quickly this weekend's upcoming fight. Not really a big fight card, but just one fight of note on that one. Anderson Silva is fighting Uriah Hall, and this is supposed to be Anderson Silva's retirement fight. Let's see if that actually comes to fruition and he actually retires after this fight.
In my opinion, he should have retired a while ago.
I thought he should have retired literally after the Vitor Belfort fight. When he front kicked him in the face, he should have retired after that fight. And he's been fighting for what like 5 more years since then?
A long time, yeah. Maybe more than that.
He's past his prime. But what do you think about that fight? Who takes that win?
It depends. I've seen Uriah Hall do really amazing things, but I've also seen him have really bad fights. I think it's
very few and far between for Uriah Hall. I don't think that he has a whole lot of great moments.
He's good. Don't get me wrong. He's very good. I just think there's something up here that's not quite the same. Yeah. But that also, for example, when Anderson Silva fought Israel Adesanya, Israel could have finished Anderson Silva. Maybe not in a prime Anderson Silva, but I thought Izzy had the ability. But there's so much respect.
Why didn't
there's so much respect for Anderson Silva?
No, I don't buy those arguments. I don't buy it when people say like, "Oh, this guy was like taking the round off." Like maybe you were like trying to catch your breath, or when Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather, people were like, "Oh yeah, Floyd let Conor hit him."
That's bullshit.
Or he could have taken him down anytime he wanted to, but he wanted to like stay in his realm and show him that he's a better striker. No. I don't buy any of those arguments. When you're in there fighting, you want to win as easily as possible. You don't want to take the hard route to win.
Ideally no. But I don't think again, let's go back to Uriah and Silva. I think that Uriah has the ability because he's younger and he has like the moves that Anderson Silva does have, because Anderson Silva in his prime was one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Doubt about it.
Phenomenal. A little past his prime now, but I think Uriah is gonna like go in there and be like, "Holy crap, this is Anderson Silva." Like,
I think he's gonna be a little starstruck too, because Uriah has said in the past that Anderson Silva is like one of his idols.
Yeah, he probably grew up watching Anderson Silva fight. Now he's fighting him. Like, you know what that does to you?
Yeah,
it's like this guy's one of the OGs, and it's happened to a lot of good people.
So if you had to bet. I'm not saying let's bet again because we already saw what happened last weekend.
I'm not putting money down, but
who do you pick this weekend?
I'm still gonna go with Uriah because I think he has the right stuff for it. If he's gonna show up physically, but if he can show up here, he can win. And I think Silva's a little bit too past his prime to fight someone like Uriah. But we'll see.
Okay, here we go again.
You're going with Silva, aren't you?
I'm going with Anderson Silva, baby. Come on, Anderson. Retire on top, Anderson. You got this.
Oh, I would love to see him retire on top.
I think he's going to, but I think he's going to. Not just for like the sentimental reason where we want Anderson Silva to win. I think that, like you mentioned, Uriah Hall gets a little starstruck in there. He's a little bit too respectful. Anderson Silva, he's still shown flashes of brilliance where he has like still very quick reflexes, but at the same time,
not as fast as he was, but
fast as he was. I still think he gets it done.
He's still better than a lot of guys out there.
Probably by decision.
I can see the decision. Is it the main event? 5 rounds?
It is the main event, 5 rounds.
Okay, well,
so we'll see.
That's going to come down to like obviously in the past Silva's conditioning has proven true, but he's well into his 40s now. So and not saying that's old, but in a sport like this, it starts to weigh on you for sure. Yeah. Especially when you have as many fights under your belt that Silva does, especially with the last few losses he's taken. So we'll see.
Well, there you have it, everybody. I think we got some good fight coverage there. We talked about Khabib and Gaethje, what happened with that whole fight. Obviously, Khabib, you have to put this guy towards like one of the greatest of all time. I think there's no doubt about that. And you have our picks for Anderson Silva versus Uriah Hall. So I think it's going to be a pretty fun main event this weekend. And it was definitely a fun fight card the past weekend. Do you have any final words there, Robbie?
No, honestly. You're absolutely right. It was actually a phenomenal card. I've seen some cards that were supposed to be like really good and end up being like really boring to watch. But this whole fight card, we didn't talk about other fights, but if you watched it, there was like finish after finish after finish.
Robert Whittaker was in the win column against Jared Cannonier.
There is something that I will say about that. Do you watch the end of that fight, like his post-fight interview, Whittaker?
Did I see it? I can't remember.
Basically, they asked him, do you want to call anybody out? And he was like, I just want to go home and enjoy Christmas. He didn't even consider the idea. He does not want to fight Adesanya again.
I don't know. I don't think so.
He was in the right position to call up for the title fight, and he didn't even bother. So I think he's a great fighter, but he doesn't want to fight Adesanya again. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
There you have it, everybody.
I don't need Whittaker sliding into my DMs and say, screw you, man.
There you have it, everybody. Thanks so much for watching this little bonus episode. We're going to keep these bonus episodes coming. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll keep you guys posted for all things coming up. Follow us on Instagram at 2FriendsFighting.
You can follow me at Robbie Moss Fitness. My name, ROBBY MOSS Fitness. And you can follow Jackson at
Jackson Khoury, JACKSON KHOURI. It's going to be linked in the video. We'll see you guys on the next episode. This is for 2 Friends Fighting. For Robbie, I'm Jackson. Peace.
Thanks, guys.
Of course, that is a handsome, pretty 600s, so there was this decline right there. It's like, oh, that's the same thing. I'm handsome, I'm pretty, I'm attractive, beautiful.